So today we are going to make the wash puppet cat by MillyMellyDesigns. I have already made up two, which is our little cats. You put your hand inside it and you just use it as a washcloth in the bathtub. The first part of our washcloth cat is to make our ears. So I have just hooped a small hoop and put two pieces of fabric onto it right side down and secured it with painter's tape. So I finished stitching out our ears, so all I need to do now is just remove it from the hoop and cut around the outside, being careful not to cut through my stitching, and turn my ears in the right way. So that's my little ears turned in the right way. And we're now ready to do the main body of the cat. I've already run the first step and done the outline. Now it's very important when you cut the toweling for the main body of your cat that you cut it from the side of the towel, so you have this hemmed edge which goes onto the bottom of your wash mitt, so that you don't have to hem it when you're finished and it doesn't fray. And you need to line up the bottom of that hemmed edge with the bottom of the outline that you have just stitched, and tape it into place before proceeding with the next step, which was stitch the fabric to the stabilizer. So that's our outline stitched for our cat. Now the next step with this one is going to be to do the patch that's in under the face. If you are making the calico cat, which is this one here, your next step will actually be to do the patches on the cat. So your next step will be to run the outline for your patches. You will then place your fabric down, stitch down your fabric, and then trim off any excess, and then do your satin stitch around each of your cat's patches. And after that you will then go on to the step which we are on now, which is doing the patch on the cat's face. Once the outline for your cat's face is stitched, you can then place your piece of contrast fabric that you're going to use across your cat's body like that. And our next step, we'll stitch it down into place. So that's the material attached to our cat's face. I have cut around and removed the excess fabric from around the outside, cutting in as close as I can to my stitches. I have then placed a piece of wash away over the top of where the cat's face will be and taped it down, so to hold the pile of the towel down while we stitch the cat's eyes, nose and mouth and whiskers. So once your eyes are completed, you don't need to do anything else, just move on to the next step, which is doing our mouth and whiskers. So that's our eyes, mouth and whiskers complete on our cat. Your next step will actually run your satin stitch around the outside of your patch here. So I have just removed the bottom piece of tape that I had across here, so it's not in the way. Once your satin stitch is finished around the edge of your cat's face, your next step will be to embroider the nose. With the face of our cat now complete, I have removed all the wash away off the fabric, and we are now ready to move on to the next step, which is doing the outline for the heart on our cat's tummy. outline of your heart done, you then need to place a piece of contrast fabric right side up over the top of your outline to be stitched down. Once your contrast fabric is stitched down, you then need to trim around it as close as possible to the stitching. Your next step will satin stitch all around the edge of your heart. That's our heart finished. If you would like to put a name onto your cat mitt, this is now the time to do it. So I am now going to add some writing to the bottom of my cat mitt, and I have placed a layer of washaway over the top of my toweling just to hold the pile down. Now that my name is complete, I am ready to do the placement stitches for our tag that will hang on the side of your cat, which is right here, so you can hang your cat up. Just remember, with my machine I have to skip through to the end to do my name. Just remember to skip back to step 12 so you can pick up where you left off. Once your placement stitches are done, you can then pop your tag into place so that it faces inwards towards the middle of the cat. I have just used a piece of folded fabric to match my heart and my ears. If you don't want to use a piece of fabric, you can also use just a piece of ribbon or something similar. The next step stitches our tag. Our next step will run the placement stitches for both of our ears. In placing your ears, make sure you just place them in just a small amount from the side seam, so that when you place your backing fabric on, your ears do not get caught up in your side seam. This step now stitches our ears on. With our tag and ears now sewn on, we are ready to place our backing fabric over the top. As you can see, I have lined up both of my hemmed edges of my toweling, and I have taped down with low tack painter's tape. So we will now stitch around the whole outline of our cat. The outline of my cat now done, I just need to remove it from the hoop, cut around the outside of my stitching and turn it in the right way. So that's our wash puppet cat completed and turned in the right way and ready to go into the bathroom. Thank you for watching.